Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Monday, June 16th, 2025. I can't believe it's June 16th, 2025. It's the SOS show with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr., super organizer. It's our 10th season. As you know, we celebrated 2 weeks ago my 10 years on the air, where I started out on radio, then went to a podcast network, and now it's on me and here on JLJ Media. And I'm just so happy. And one of the reasons why I do these shows, because I get to talk to amazing people in my industry. I love organizing, as you guys know. I can talk about it all day long, and I do sometimes. But I get to bring people on. And this person, she's bright, talented, smart. Okay, I'm gonna read her bio a little bit. She has something a little bio, so I'm gonna read it. As a former marketing professional with a fashion background, which I like that, fashion and marketing, we like that. She brings a unique brand of practicality and style to the world of home organizing, because it's not just about putting stuff away and making them match and stuff, but you also make it look pretty too at the same time, and functional, if you like to. And she says, I understand the need for functional systems that streamlining daily life. Very important. And also she wants to inspire. So, as you're organizing, there's a lot of inspiration when it comes to that. And we're going to talk to her about how she came to the business, what she does in the business. She's the founder of The Organized Way, and I'm excited to have her on, Elyse Metzger. Hi, Elyse.
Hi.
So, something that you do, everybody comes to this profession from somewhere else. It's almost like, hopefully one day, and maybe it's going to start happening, where folks grow up and want to be an organizer. We just didn't have that when we were growing up. It just wasn't a profession to have, to think about. So I'm hoping one day it happens. We're like, when I grow up, I want to be an organizer. That'd be great. But most of us up to this point come from another profession or a reason. And you actually mentioned, I didn't read this, but in your background, you mentioned losing your mother and grandmother. So how does that correlate with you coming into the business?
So it's something, it runs really deep. My mom was so organized. I just remember the home being so organized. And it wasn't like fancy or anything. It was just everything had a home, and it made me feel safe and like, know what's happening, know where everything is. And when I lost her when I was 12, I lived with my Grammy, her mom.
Okay.
And she was the same. And so I learned a lot from my grandmother, being an old school, like Grammy, I call her Grammy. She taught me so much about the home. She taught me, how to stay organized, where to put things in the kitchen, just how to manage a home. And when she passed away, my grandmother, when I was going through her boxes, I found stuff from her mom. And she, like, the way that the boxes were packed were like so organized. And this was after I started my business. And I was going through the boxes, and I just realized, wow, 3 generations before me are organizers. And like, there's a lot of my other family members are just my brother's the same organized. And it's like, wow, I come from a family of organized people. And so it's a way to carry on their memory, like just doing what I do every day, doing what I love. And sharing it with other people.
It's almost like you really did come from a family of organizers. Even though they weren't professional organizers, they were organizers running a home, which to me, I always call people house managers. I changed the words from housewife to house manager. I mean, it's a lot to handle, right? When it comes to running a home and children and all that stuff. But you literally came from, like, you guys say you grew up with people who are organized in your lineage. I
Mhm.
wonder if there's some part of that why you and your brother are organized. I wonder if there's some kind of truth to that.
Yeah, I always wonder like if there's like an organized gene. I don't think there is. I think it's habits and you learn it, but I learned it from them.
I know. I guess actually I didn't expect this discussion, but my thought is everybody's brains are wired differently. The brain is very complex. You and I both know that. And as we work with clients, it's a very, I mean, there's no two clients are the same, right? Very different. But I wonder, I'm left-handed.
Oh.
So I think a little differently than right-hand people do. And I meet other left-hand people, we do. We see the world a little differently just because we have to. Our brains, I'm not sure if it's true that we're more creative or like that. I mean, they go because the right brain, they have the whole thing there. But I think there's something in there. So I wonder when it comes to people who get the organized way, the organized way. Thank you. I'll do this. Organized way naturally versus those because it can be taught to anybody. I'm with you on that. So I'm just curious if if your family comes from people who are naturally organized and then they see the organization and not go the other direction. They don't
Yeah.
go hoarders. I come from a family of hoarders.
Oh.
I'm the opposite. But your family was all organized. You saw it. Did it unlock something that was already in there? I just want. That's one of those kind of sketches. I'm just wondering what maybe your thoughts. I don't know. I'm like it's.
I think I wonder that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that I just did what did what my mom did and just learned from it and just, the habits we pick up on our habits. My son is the same way. I see him like putting away things and I'm like, "Oh, this is probably what I was like was when I was a child." But then I meet people like you who came from a different household when they grew up and they're like the opposite and they are organized because they know, the consequences of not being, not having order in their life. So I don't know. I don't know because I don't know if I've actually ever met any organizer that's like or anybody who's like, I'm a mess. I came from an organized home, but I'm a mess. I don't know. I think it's just like a positive habit to pick up. And, people who like you grew up in like a not as orderly home, then you're like, you feel like you need to get an order. So you learn it. You see what can happen if you're not organized or.
Yeah, very true. I come from like my grandparents were hoarders. My mother's a hoarder. My daughter's a hoarder. They're all they just get it. Just none of them are organized, and I'm the only one in the middle. And it's funny. My brother who I live with has tendencies. I help him keep him in check because I'm like, there's not happening in my house. So and he's happy. He's happy about that. He's like, you're good. I keep him in check. He goes, I lean towards like our mother. I'm like, I know, but we refuse to have it happen. But I know for me, I hate not being able to move around in houses. I hated tripping on things. Hated not finding stuff. Um, and I think so. I went the total opposite of them. It was like I can't live like this. I just can't. So I don't, if they were, but I have friends who did come from organized homes who are the opposite because it's too much control issue for them.
Yeah. 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 I can see that.
They're,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm not going to clean that over there. I'm gonna leave there for a couple of days. I'm like, no, just think overnight. We don't do that. Like there's certain things I just don't do. I make my bed every day. The things that I do because I like it now. But you said something earlier though that is so true. You said you felt good when your mother and grandmother were organizing stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming feeling has a lot to do with it too, right? You think in your practice?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And it's both for me personally and my clients. I see it over and over again, no matter what type of project it is, it's the way that you feel. And, having my mom die young, and then having to move, like shift, when I was younger, actually being organized helped me. It was like a coping mechanism. Um, it just makes you feel like we all kind of, especially like women managing homes, we want to like feel like we have it together and like we can enjoy our lives, but still manage, the everything else that's happening. And it's a feeling. You feel good when people want to they feel good when they know what they're getting, like routines. So humans are just that way. And I see it with my clients too. You literally can see like tense, like or like nervous when we come over, like, oh my gosh, this is the worst you've seen, or it's so bad, and they try to clean up before you come. And it's like, no, we're here to help, and it doesn't have to be a certain way. It just depends on on the client, what their goals are. And then we leave and you just see them like, like just feel better because you're not like holding on to these things and these challenges and you feel better in your space.
I agree with that. I love when a client, as you're helping them transform, when you start to see their shoulders go down, when you start to see them not sigh as much,
Hmm.
you start because it is a feeling, and because I say it to people all the time. I go, I just you do feel better when things are organized, they're in place, and it sounds kind of schmaltzy for some people, but I tell people it's the truth. I mean,
Hmm.
I've been doing this 17 years. I know it. I mean, I my own life longer than that. I know, but I'm saying I know, and what you're saying, I agree with. It's like it's when you know you can go somewhere and find something. The energy of not knowing where the scissors are. We always use scissors as an example, right? Where the scissors are, and you're cussing yourself out because you can't find them. You just want to cut this one little thing, and you can't cut that one little thing because you can't find the scissors. But you know what happens afterwards, Elyse? After you don't need the scissors, they pop up. Okay, you can't see
Yep.
it.
Oh,
He's
there you go.
by the way, the left-handed. They pop up. You're like, I was looking for you like for 5 hours the other day, and then you're sitting right in front of you.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
what kind of organizing do you do for business?
So I do a lot of my focus is home organizing. So I help families organize pantries, kitchens, bedrooms, bathrooms, and then we also help move. When you're moving, we can help declutter before the move, prep for the move. I've had a lot of projects like that lately. Prepping your home for a sale so people can see the home and just, not like if just to prep the home for the sale, we pack, unpack, get you settled. We can do like put everything away, label everything, or we can just put it away in an organized manner. It goes when you move, it's like if you pack organized, then it's quicker to unpack and get settled. And so yeah.
I
So
try
those
I tell people that all the time. When you move organized, trust me. Yeah, at first you're like, oh my goodness. At the end, you're so happy.
yeah, it's worth it.
It is totally worth it. Totally worth it. How do you find your clientele?
Referrals, a lot of referrals. Yep.
Yeah. I want to talk about that for a second because I did a blog post recently about that. I said, do not crap on word of mouth. I think people nowadays will say, well, you should just, you got to be on social media, and I know all that. You got this stuff we're promoting is fine. But I'm telling you, I was like, word of mouth and referrals are everything. That's 90% of my business, Elyse, the
Mhm.
last 17 years. It's
Yeah.
people going, I know this guy, you should hire this guy. Or I don't, I mean, like, seriously. I mean, that's kind of, so you're saying you found the same thing. It's more of you work with someone, they refer you to someone else, that kind of thing.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. And I work with a lot of like real estate agents and designers. So they're already, those clients are already in that space in their home. And so they just need a little extra help. So, and I love my clients. I love all of the clients that I work with.
That's good. How large of an area do you work? Like where you live? Are you like 5, 10 miles, 50? Like, how do you navigate that space too? Because people don't always ask me, well, how far do you work? And we all have friends who are organizers and nearby places. I go, I don't go to for me, I don't go to the valley. So I have friends out there who go to the valley and I pass it on to them, or I don't go to San Diego necessarily unless it's a really good job. And I go,
Yeah.
I know people down there. Like I live in a certain space. I just wonder for you, how does that work for you?
I would say probably majority, it's probably like 10 to 20 miles just in North County, San Diego. So I'll go to Orange County sometimes. I'll have a couple jobs there and then a couple jobs in San Diego, like more down south. But it's time consuming, when you have to drive, projects can last a day to a couple days. And then, if we're doing like one big day, I don't mind driving, but it gets to be a lot.
I know. I do.
Hey, yes.
I do know. I know exactly. And folks at home, if you guys don't know this, I actually, speaking of doing a fun project, I spoke at NAPO San Diego. I had a great time. I had a wonderful time with all the ladies. We had a good time. And some gentlemen, there were a couple guys there.
Mm.
Had a great time. My presentation, I had a good time. And I didn't mind going down there for that. And that was fun.
Yeah, that's a good time.
So and I want to say there's a lot of great organizers down there in that area. So if you're watching from that area, and there are parts of Orange County that are not far from San Diego, they're not far. I mean, go like a little northeast and like, or yeah, northeast or northwest, like, oh, right there. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So there's a lot of great folks like Elyse down there for sure. When did you realize you wanted to do this as a business?
So it was in 2019. My
Oh,
son was born in 2018. So he was a little baby, and I was like really gung ho on going back. I was in marketing at the time. I was like, I'm going to go back to work. I can't just sit around all day and take care of my baby. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
But it was before I had, it was before I had a child, and then I had my baby, and I was going into the office every day, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I wanted to have a more flexible schedule. And so I kept thinking, when you hear like, you know, what will keep you happy in life is doing your passion. Like, who cares about the money? Or, so I kept thinking, like, what do I do? What am I passionate about? And I was literally like, I was making my bed, and I'm like, I could organize. Like, that is something that I enjoy doing. Like, on my free time, I will be organizing my closet, I help people organize. And so I looked it up online, and I'm like, organizer, and I saw NAPO, and I saw other organizers. This was in, yeah, 2019. And I talked to my husband and, some of my friends, and they were like, it's a great idea. And so I quit my job in marketing, February of 2020, and then March of 2020, everything shut down. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm not going into anyone's homes. So,
totally. So you start. Oh my God! I didn't realize you started right then.
yeah.
Everything shut down, and
Yeah.
for me as a long timer, I'm going. All the clients canceled. Everything dried up. It was like because and I know here in LA it was mandatory lockdown, so we couldn't. You had to be like a what do you call those workers?
Oh, like,
Not mandatory. There's another word for it. You had to be considered one of those to be able to go to work. And some of them got it because they were movers. So they said, we're still moving people like that. But for me, it was like, but you just started, you literally going, I'm going to change my life.
yeah.
I'm going to do this. And your baby's like 2 years old probably by then. And you're just thinking, I'm going to have a good time. And it's like, everything shut down.
And I had no job.
So then what did you do? Like, how did you, because you're obviously in business now, but like, what did you do when that happened?
You know what I did? So I went crazy on my house, and then I started doing, we all went crazy, right?
You were home. We all did. Yeah, we're all, me too. I did too.
I know that was a crazy time. But I started doing virtual sessions for like my friends and family members, and kind of like starting with that. Um, and I listened to like courses and stuff like that. But I don't once things started opening up, like when you could wear the masks and everything, I was able to go into people's homes. But I started with the virtual sessions, which was harder to do because I was just starting. But I mean, it was okay. It just took it was a slow start.
That's actually, I can say, Elyse Metzger, yes, I can say this for this show. You're the first guest in the 10 years of the show who started out virtual, then went to in person. I've never had that before. I've had the opposite. I've never had a lot of the opposite, clearly, when the pandemic hit. But no, I've never had somebody who are like, I'm about to start, like really get into it, and then you had to figure it out. So I'm very proud of you that you figured it out. You pivoted. You figured it out. And virtual it's a different animal. It also depends on the client. It's a whole different
Mhm.
thing. But what did you take away from that virtual experience, though, doing that for you?
So I realized that it is a different client. People who hire you to come into the home are a different client than from wanting to do it themselves, because when you're on virtual, you need to do it yourself. And it's just more of consulting and, helping out. But there are those clients. And also that just the importance, I guess, of just being needing support, I guess, and like both clients, people need different like support as levels of like organization. Some people just have no idea. Some people just need a little bit of help, and it's okay wherever you are, we can help you. But now I do virtual sessions. I just actually started doing virtual sessions again because as I realized being in the homes of my customers, clients, they are asking me questions and, just need like, what do I do with this little closet? And I can just say, okay, put this here, use it for this, and then I'll send them a few products and they can do it themselves. They can set it up themselves. So I am offering virtual sessions now.
Good. Folks, diversity. She can come to your house or talk to you on a Zoom or a FaceTime or whatever. So that's really good. And I always try to tell people it's so the folks who watch this going, I could never do that. I don't know what's going on. It's okay because there's certain levels to this, and just some folks are more self-starter and they actually physically can do it themselves. They just need help on what to do. Others sometimes they can't do it physically. So maybe you can't physically do it yourself. Maybe it's too overwhelming. So like Elyse said, it's okay where you are. But if you want to try virtual, you can always try it. Call her, try it. See what's going on. Try a session with her and see if it does work. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't. But I think it's okay. There's just different kind of just levels of what people can do. Nothing. Yeah, so don't feel bad if you. So folks, don't feel bad if you can't. It's fine. But twice this is a very unique story. So you started in 2019 before we have this global pandemic. You're in the pandemic. You're doing it. When I know for this is the business part now. So for folks who in business, it took me about 4 or 5 years before I saw any real profits. Before I saw a real like, oh, okay, this is good. But I thought it was good when I was doing it. But like I was like, okay, now it's so we're coming out of this whole crazy period. Are you there? Are you starting to see kind of like some of the returns?
Yes, actually this year. So my this is my sixth year. And so yes, very exciting. And it took me a long time to figure it out because you need to figure out your clientele. Like I always thought like, okay, I'm great for downsizing. I do downsizing, but it's not for those like super, older, I don't want to say
That's
like
what I work with. I work with more geriatric folks. I work with folks that are
yes.
over 60.
Yes. And I'm like, I love my Grammy. I loved helping her organize. And it's just it wasn't a good like match for me. So my clientele, they're busy families, like and I have a 7-year old, like, and so I'm like, I am in that stage of my life. And so those clients are, they're just too busy to do it themselves. They have like, kids and all of these things. And so it takes a while to find out your clients, and just running a business. Like I come from marketing. And so I'm like always wanting to do marketing. And I'm like, no, I have to be like doing other things. And, and then having a team, like if you have a big job and you can't do it on your own, like you need to find people that, have the same values and, your clients expect the same thing. It's like so many things to think about. But finally, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to do more of it. And that's that.
Completely described it perfectly. And there's folks, there's a lot of I always say being an entrepreneur, that's what we are. A solopreneur, entrepreneur, mom, whatever words you want to use, but you're a business owner. And this is a business. And I know at the core, we just want to organize. We love it. I'm sure, like you love it, I love. It. We just want to help people. It's a business, and that's what I wish someone had told me in the beginning a little more, emphasized that a little more to me. I mean, I wasn't like I went in not knowing it was a business, but I just wish somebody said, James, there's you may have to schedule a day where it's all paperwork, or or things you just have to kind of a couple times a year. Like there's certain things when it comes to taxes, and there's just certain things that you have to do. Contracts, make sure the contracts are updated, make sure your agreements are updated. Like it's a lot of little things,
Yeah.
payments, with all that stuff. It's like scheduling. All that stuff because you have a regular life too. Like, see, you know what I'm talking about, and like you have a regular life also, and you're like, luckily, I'm a grandfather, so my kids are all grown, but still scheduling the grandparent time. Oh, it's my kids.
Oh.
But like, or if you're dating, or just like, or like, it's like I wish somebody just kind of emphasized to James. I know you're gonna have fun. At least you have a good time. You're gonna love what you do. I wish but just know that it's a lot. There's office work, so to speak, or back end stuff. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I completely 1,000% agree with you. Because I enjoy doing like organizing. That's why I am in this business. I love it. But I just you get caught up in it and I'm like, oh my gosh, and like keeping track of your expenses.
Yeah,
Worst.
that's,
Like I I don't know, like and you think you're an organized person, like I guess I'm somewhat organized in the business, but like things are changing. I don't know, it's just so much in my head about the actual business. It's just like wild. So I just focus on like booking, projects and
yeah.
work on the little things a little at a
Also, you
time.
can hire people. Of course, if you have the money, you can hire people to do bookkeeping and stuff like that. Of course, not there. But I'm just saying that I think it's one of those things. I come from the Oprah school of thought. I want to make sure I know everything that's going on, like touch everything. Whether you're doing it fully or not is one thing, but just at least as an owner, we should know everything that's kind of going on in your business. I kind of agree with that very much. Well, congratulations on that. That's happening there. What would you tell people on the client side if they're thinking about they're disorganized or unorganized or whatever adjectives you want to use? I know there are differences, but I'm just saying you're sitting in your house or your office or your garage or your boathouse or wherever you're at. I need help. But I don't know if I should or afraid to. What would you say to those people if you had a chance to if you had an audience of them, you had a chance to talk to them?
When I'm organizing and the advice that I give, I think I align it with life advice. So, if you're like, I don't know if I should do this, I'm embarrassed, or I don't know what's going to happen, or I don't need, just all of those crazy thoughts that go through your head. Um, what would you like tell your friend who wanted to start their own business or, wanted to try like skydiving or, just something, just go for it. It's going to improve your life. And there's so many different organizers out there. And you will connect with one that will help you, no matter what your needs are. If you're like needing a ton of organization or a little bit, there's somebody out there for you to help you. And even like a little tweak to your daily life, it will make it so much better, and you'll feel so much better. It's like a therapy, it's really, it's self-care. Being organized is self-care. That's what I think. So.
I agree with that. That was my whole thing. Remember I talked about that self care. I don't believe that. I know. I'm glad you said the word. And I want to just mention this a little bit. She mentioned embarrassment, and I want all these shows that I do, all the appearances I do, my Jimmy Kimmel appearance, everything I do is about taking away the shame and the
Mhm.
guilt you're feeling. I think people at home, if you're sitting here watching, I know you guys watch my shows, and some of you could be disorganized or hoarder tendencies or whatever you want to call it, pack rats, whatever words you use of yourself. Don't be embarrassed. There are so many great organizers who are not here to judge you, right? We're not here to judge. We're just here to help.
Mhm.
That's all you want to do. And I'm trying to break that. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. As an organizer, and I've been, I mean, you've been doing it longer, but you just go into people's homes and it's just, I love being inside of people's homes. Like, even, I'm not going into somebody's home and thinking, oh my gosh, why do they have that in there? Like, or like, "Oh, that's weird," or, I love it. I'm like fascinated. And even in people's homes, in every client's home that I go into or space, I always take away something that I learn, a positive thing that I learn from them, like, oh, they do this way. That's cool. Like I've never seen that. Or I find like a treasure, that I've never seen before. And it's just awesome. You learn about people and you make connections with your clients. And it's nothing, if whatever organizer comes, it's it's a positive thing. And I know it's hard to think like, oh, I'm shameful of my space or I'm embarrassed. But you don't have to be. This is what we do. We're here for that.
Yeah, you hire a plumber when your pipes are messing. You hire a gardener when your garden is the weeds are too big. You hire an electrician when the light gets busted and you can't get a good socket thing. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just we're all those people. You hire a housekeeper to clean your house. I mean, it's like it's a service. And I keep trying. That's another thing I try to do in this podcast. I know it's a service, and for those who I know there's a lot of pride, and maybe you can talk about this a little bit if you run across it. I know there's a lot of pride when it comes to house management. The old term stay at home. I don't mind saying stay at home mom. So I don't like the terminology anymore. But just house management. You're a mother, or sometimes father in some cases, and you're at home taking care of everything. There's pride in, am I doing it correctly? Am I doing it all? And what do you say to them? What do you say to those people?
Um, you know what? No matter, I've been in really nice homes, like beautiful homes. And a home can be beautiful, but it's the way that it's a beautiful, so let me start over. A beautiful home is being lived in. It's not like a sterile home. Like as long as you can go into a home and it's like it feels like a home, it doesn't have to look perfect. And being organized is not perfect if you have a system that works for you. And again, it's the way that you feel. Like if you walk in your home and you're like, okay, I know I have a system for this. I know where this is, my kids are fine, whatever, then you're organized. Like it's not, and I've been in so many homes and nobody's home is like sterile perfect and nobody keeps it that way.
I agree. And I've worked with celebrities, and the same thing. It's just. I agree with you 1,000% at least on that. Yes. But we know that maybe you have pride and maybe embarrassed because you think you're not doing well enough. Like, no, that's not it, right? It's not it. Life is busy. I mean, if you have more than one, even having one child, I had two daughters, but even having one child can be busy. But if you have more than that and you're trying to ease their schedules, and both my daughters were in sports, they were in dance, they were both in glee clubs, I mean, they did everything. And trying to navigate that, girlfriend, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a grandfather now trying to navigate the grandchildren stuff. I got five of them. I'm like, who has what? This one here, and I'm like, can Papa Jamie go to this one? I'm like, it's. I mean, and time goes by so fast. It just does.
It Yeah, it does. It's like forget about it. And I tell myself that I'm an organizer, I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be like, look a certain way. And I just remind myself like because I have a lot of pride in my home. I'm a home organizer and I'm always like, okay, if somebody's coming over, like I have to put the things away and I do. But but I have given myself the okay, like it's okay. We live in this home and there's going to be stuff out. Like we live here.
Right.
We're like hanging out here. We can't have everything put away. Like things can be out. Like you're like it's taking over my life, like, the bins and things. Not really anymore, but that's the pride thing. Like if there's anybody that like has more pride, it's a home organizer that like manages a home. But
True.
I allow it because, my son isn't going to be 7. He's going to be like 30 someday with kids. I'm going to be the grandma, like, and I want to live in my house and enjoy it and not obsess with putting things away.
That's why I'm chuckling because I think I like a house that's nice, but it has to be lived in. I mean, that's kind of we live. That's what we're here. That's what we're here for. I'm paying this mortgage to live in my house. That's why
Yeah.
I'm to live in my house. Like that's the whole point. That's why I'm here. So I like that. As we wrap up, and I love all your answers. Now I just want to talk to our brethren, our fellow organizers, and your business 6 years. What would you like to say to people who are joining our profession now, who are joining it? Anything you just want to say to them?
Um, it's a great time to join because there are a lot of seasoned organizers like you, and you give it's needed. It's a really fulfilling thing to do. Like I love it, and it's a really good decision. And then maybe like some business advice, just don't like be too hard on yourself because when you're starting any business, it's really hard and like my life is like a roller coaster, my feelings, because one day you're up and you're like, I'm doing so awesome. And then one day you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go back to marketing. I'm like looking at marketing jobs. Can somebody just hire me? But no, it's worth it. It's really worth it. But don't be too hard on yourself.
I agree with that. I always want thanks and gratitude, and I just want to say I thank gratitude to you for coming on the show, of course, and being so friendly to me. I want to thank everybody at Naples, San Diego. I made a lot of new friends, and they're all just so wonderful and great. And also to all of our clients. It's our business. It's feast or famine sometimes, as you just mentioned. And you're like, okay, I got rent, I got mortgage next month, I got what's going, but it always comes through because we are here to help. And seriously, I think every person who hires one of us, and not just us, everybody in our business. I mean, there's so many wonderful people out there. Seriously, I mean, there are who are ready to help you. So I live in gratitude for someone making that decision for themselves to hire an organizer, and you should. Trust me, you will not be sorry. We are a good bunch. And now it's time for Elyse to do her marketing. Where can they find you? Your website, where you is online.
So it's a long website. It's a long website. The Organized Way was taken. So it's Discover the Organized Way. And then I'm also on Instagram, The Organized Way, Elyse Metzger. So I'm usually on Instagram, and YouTube. So
I'll put those links in the description below for you guys to go follow her. Follow her and tell James sent you. Thanks, Elyse, for being on the show.
thank you, James. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
My pleasure. So, folks, you can follow me. The Super Organizer is on all social media platforms, everywhere where you want to be. Superorganizer.com. A lot of help. That's Lott with two T's of help. You know what I did there. .com. Follow that. I have a blog. It comes out every day. Today's blog is on Gen Beta and will they be organized or not? Well, listen, that's the future. We're talking about the future of what they might look at when it comes to collecting items. It's changing, folks. It is changing. That's out now, so I blog every day. James Lott Jr. everywhere on TikTok. I'm a TikTok star. I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place. Talking about organizing, soap operas, Star Wars, about everything. So follow all of that out there. And I'm also for hire too. If you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to like just meet me and say hi and pay me, of course, I'll do it. I'm here. Of course, Super Organizer is here for you to help you. She's there to help you also. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We're here on Mondays. Every Monday I do a show, 10 years running, and we'll see you next time.